Moving to a new city can be overwhelming, especially if you've never set foot in that city before. So in this video, we're going to dive deep into Google Maps and we're going to walk you through every corner of Red Deer. Plus, we're going to show you real footage of the areas so that by the end of it, you're going to have everything you need to make the right move for you and your family. All right, guys, before we get started, this one is going to be quite a long video. So we're going to walk through just about every single neighborhood in the city. We're going to talk about all the different areas, what it has for shopping, what it has for things like rec centers and gyms, all the common questions that I get asked when people are looking to make the move to Red Deer. So get a coffee, get a notepad, you can rewind, pause, do whatever you need to do. Kind of use this as your relocation guide. So stay with me. We are going to cover a ton in this video. This is going to be the most in-depth look at the city of Red Deer that you will find anywhere. All right, let's hop over to the map. All right, let's get into this. So first off, one of the biggest benefits of living in Red Deer is because of where it's located. So many people are choosing between places like Red Deer and Lethbridge and other cities within the province. And ultimately, a lot of the times people choose Red Deer just because of how centrally located it is. So if we zoom out a little bit, it's super easy to see that we have Red Deer right in the middle. And then it's the halfway point between Edmonton and Calgary. I think technically it's 155 kilometers to Edmonton and 145 kilometers to Calgary. So basically you are right in the middle. Now, everyone loves the mountains in Alberta. This is what Alberta is known for. We have all the Rocky Mountains over here. So you can go straight west, just past Rocky Mountain House, and you get into the foothills out here in a little place called Nordegg. This area has tons of really great hiking, so you don't always have to think of Banff. You can go straight west to Rocky Mountain House, but if you do want to go to the mountains, to Banff and Canmore and Kananaskis and all the popular places, you just head straight south. You don't even have to go into Calgary. So you take the Ring Road, Stony Trail, and then you just head west straight out into Banff and all the great places that most people know about in Alberta. But let's get back to the city of Red Deer. I'm sure most people are aware of the great location that the city has, but let's start diving deep into the city itself. So let's start this map tour off kind of in this northeastern section of the south end of Red Deer. So we're still on the south side of the river. The river divides Red Deer right in half. We're going to head right into this northeast section. So in this area, we have three primary neighborhoods. So this one isn't popping up on the screen right now. I'm just going to grab my little markup tool for you here. But this area right here, oh, that's a line I wanted to draw. But this area is known as Evergreen. So maybe if I zoom in a little bit, you can see it a little more. But this area is kind of unique. You can see there's a little bit of separation here from the rest of the city. I would say this is probably like 1/2 to 3/4 of a kilometer. So you do kind of have that really secluded feel out here. The only people that are coming into this neighborhood are the people that live here. Now, this is where a ton of new construction is going on right now in the Evergreen neighborhood. So if you're looking for new construction homes, this is a really great option. Now, there is some walking trails and stuff here just off to the east side along this lake. But something to note about this area is this is how we get down into the Riverbend Recreation Center. So we have Evergreen here. If we just keep following it north, we're going to hang a left, and this takes us down into Riverbend Golf Course, which is a great golf course, great for us slicers, lots of open space. But we also have things like Discovery Canyon here. This is a phenomenal park for the kids. This is a great way to spend a hot day. This is a super popular area. It's got a man-made river. You can rent tubes. It can float down into a little waiting area. There's a concession down here. There's a themed park for the kids. So you're super close to this area and everything that's along the river. So this is a really awesome area to spend the day and just have some fun with the kids. But let's head back. Again, Evergreen, mainly new construction here, lots of newer homes, or primarily newer homes. One of the cons of living in this area, unfortunately, is that in this area, the lots are going to be a little bit smaller. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. I'm going to try and be brutally honest in this video, but the lots are going to be smaller here. All right, let's head a little bit farther south. So grab my markup tool again. Now, these neighborhoods are really popular. So we have, and I'll erase this, my shitty drawing. So we have timber, stone. So this is kind of a mixture. You have Timber Stone, Timber Ridge, Timberlands North. I just refer to this area as Timber Stone. Now, this is a newer neighborhood. This area is a really great neighborhood for everyone from, you got first-time homebuyers, lots of affordability in the area. There's some really expensive homes in this area too. They also have the Barry Wilson, I believe it's an elementary school in this neighborhood, so really great for young families. I helped some clients get into, I was surprised actually, they were looking for a large lot, and I'm thinking, well, we're only going to be looking in mainly the older neighborhoods, but we actually found a home, beautiful home in here on 1/3 of an acre with an extra shop in the back. So I was completely shocked. So typically they're going to be average size lots in the Timberstone area, but you can find some hidden gems like that. Now, what this area is really well known for is its walkability. And, you know, we're going to talk about Clearview right after this, and it's going to include even more walkability. But we have the Timberstone Plaza. So we'll show some drone footage, but I mean, this area here is all shopping. There's just tons and tons of stuff here. So there's grocery stores. Again, they used to have the UFC gym here. That's closed now. It's a different kind of gym. Daycares, supplement stores, gas stations. This is just a really walkable area. Now, this is also great for retirees. Right here, we have the Wellings, and this is a new development. You can only rent these, so they're 55 plus living. They're all on one floor. They got nice big windows, but they are designed to be very walkable over to all of the shopping in the Timberstone Plaza, and there's tons of stuff going up here. Now, if we just zoom out a little bit, we have the Timberlands North area. So let me just make a fancy drawing here. That's this northern section of Timberlands. Right now, there is a ton of new construction going on here. So in this area, you're going to find lots of things like carriage homes. So there's a garage in the back, and over top of it, there's a suite. But for the longest time, this area, it lay dormant. There was nothing going on here. And now, I think we've talked about in other videos that building starts in the last year up almost 100%. They're probably up over 100% now, but there's tons of construction going on here now. This is obviously a newer area. It's designed for walkability. There's lots of cool like walking paths and things in between the houses. It's pretty bare up here though. I don't even know if there's a tree here. You might get the developer tree on the front of your yard, but it's definitely a unique area and it might not appeal to everyone. So Timberstone, great neighborhood. Now let's hop across the street. So Clearview Ridge, this is a very popular area. Again, we talked about the market here in Timberstone. Now we're gonna hop across here into Clearview Ridge and Clearview Market. So this whole corner of Clearview is entirely shopping, restaurants, grocery stores, like 3 or 4 different bakes. It's got the Canadian Brew House. One of my favorite restaurants is here, Brown Social Host. It's absolutely fantastic. There's car washes. So if you're looking for walkability, both of these neighborhoods are great. Clearview Ridge might arguably be one of the best, and we'll talk about one that I think might be even better. Possibly, it's up for debate. But this is also a great neighborhood for young professionals too. Those looking for a little bit more of a lively neighborhood. You know, you can go have a beer at the Canadian Brew House, and if you get stanky drunk or stinking drunk, you can stumble home, and it's not far at all, even in the wintertime. But this neighborhood is newer too. What I like about this neighborhood is even though it's newer, I mean, you do have school in the area as well. I mean, this is an area where there's lots of young families, but I've also had lots of fire captains who've decided to call this area their retirement home as well, or their retirement neighborhood. But if we zoom out a little bit, you can see we have Clearview Ridge right here, and then this is a short walk. And then all of a sudden you're into all of these trails that go along the Gates Lakes Bird Sanctuary. So this is a beautiful park in the city of Red Deer. I believe it's the largest migratory bird sanctuary in Alberta or Canada. Oh man, I should have checked that. Damn it. Why didn't I check that before I started the video? I've made so many videos on this too, I should know the answer to that. But it's a really cool spot. I think it attracts about 90,000 people per year. But really beautiful area. Like lots of people are using this area to get their walks and their fitness in. And then down in this area right here, you got the Kerrywood Nature Center. And you can see this is all right along the river valley, which makes it a beautiful area. But the Kerrywood Nature Center is a phenomenal place for the kids. They have the Imagination Grove, which is like a little playground in the trees, and lots of stuff that you can go check out inside. So, and one thing about this area, I know we'll get back to Clearview Ridge here, but this area too, it's also close to Mackenzie Trails. This is a lesser known park within the city of Red Deer, and it's kind of a sleeper. It is absolutely stunning down in this area. Everyone talks about the big parks or the more popular ones like Heritage Ranch and Bower Ponds and the Gates Lakes Bird Sanctuary, but come check this place out. It's usually a little bit more quiet. There's less people there, and it's absolutely beautiful. Now, there is one more neighborhood in this area. Let me get the markup tool. We have Garden Heights, which is up in this area. So this is a small neighborhood. It is all, I shouldn't say that. I was going to say it is all single family detached homes, but there are some fourplexes and newer condos going up along 67th Street. So this is also a really kind of a high-end neighborhood, really close to, again, all the trails. You can just walk down to Mackenzie Trails, as you can see. So this northeast section of the city is absolutely fantastic. If you're looking for walkability and convenience, Clearview Market is one of the best. Timberstone is probably right behind it. If you want a little bit more of a secluded feel, we have Garden Heights, and then we have Evergreen, which has a really secluded feel because, again, you have that separation from the rest of the city. All right, let's continue on with our Google Maps deep dive of the city of Red Deer. And just remember, guys, I also am a realtor. So if you do need help making the move here, I would love the chance here in your busiest. Use this email popping up on the screen or down in the description below. It's at the top of my banner on my YouTube channel. Give me a shout. We'd love the opportunity to help you. Okay, let's keep going now that I got that out of the way. Now, we were in the northeast section of the south end. Let's kind of keep going down this eastern side. So next we get into two neighborhoods. We'll get into each of them, but we have Rosedale. Again, fancy drawing here, which is this neighborhood. And then we have Deer Park, which is this bigger neighborhood. Now, these are really popular neighborhoods to live within the city. You can see you're on the far eastern border. There's nothing that's going to be past you here. So you're away from most of the busy stuff and everything that's going on downtown, far east side. So nice and quiet. Rosedale is going to have a little bit of an older demographic compared to Deer Park. Rosedale, fun fact, was the second fastest appreciating neighborhood last year in the city of Red Deer. Detached homes here went up just about 20%, and there was like 19.86%. But I really love this area. You just get lots of different style of homes. There's a big green space right in the middle. The neighborhood has a really tight-knit community feel to it. Lots of the times on certain streets, they'll have block parties, so that's super fun. You really get to know your neighbors. Again, there's lots of 55 plus living in this area, so this is a really popular spot for those to retire. Now, if we move just south, we move into the neighborhood of Deer Park. This is another popular one. Actually, fun fact about Deer Park was that it was the most moved to neighborhood in 2024. So very popular neighborhood. It's very big. So you're kind of, even though there's not a lot of immediate stuff right within these neighborhoods, there is a small little grocery store section right here in the Deer Park neighborhood. It's got a little pub in the corner. I can't remember if it's still called Chillabongs, but it's got grocery stores and gas stations and Dairy Queen. So there is a little bit of immediate stuff right within the area. But again, you're just a hop skipping away just a rip up here to Timberstone and Clearview Market. And then we have some stuff a little bit farther south, which we will talk about. There is the Holy Family School in this neighborhood. So again, great for young families, great for retirees. Most of the homes in this area, Rosedale and Deer Park, were built in the 1980s. So just remember, 1980s, early 1990s, this is when they used poly B plumbing, which is a pain in the ass. You find some beautiful homes, some nice 3, 4, 5 level splits, and then people get really concerned because there's poly B in them. So it's not a huge deal. Just have that expectation. If you're looking at homes in that time frame, there's a good chance they might have poly B. Check with your insurance company to see if they're actually going to insure you for it, because a lot of insurance companies are not. And if it was me and I really love the home, I would just buy the home and I would get that stuff changed out right after I moved in. Now, some things to note on this east side before we go any farther. Just remember, there's busy arteries here. So this is 30th Ave. This is a really busy artery. And then coming on this east side, we're coming all the way from downtown. Let's start here actually. This is actually, well, it's called 50th Street, but this is Ross Street. This runs into Ross Street downtown. So people who are leaving downtown and coming home from that side of the city, it's going to be busy. And then we have 32nd Street. So that is another really busy artery. So just be aware, if you don't want to back onto a busy street, a very busy artery in the city, keep in mind these ones. I mean, 39th Street and the other ones are also going to be busy too. Maybe not quite as busy, but just something to be aware of. All right, let's continue on. Let's head down into the southeast corner. Now, we are going to talk about the neighborhood of Lancaster, which is this, let me get the markup tool. I like drawing for you guys. It's kind of an L-shaped neighborhood. Kind of comes like this. We have Lancaster Green, Lancaster Meadows, and then a little bit of a newer section over here called Lonsdale. So this is a great neighborhood. This is actually where I owned one of my first homes. This is one of my favorite neighborhoods in the city. This is an ideal neighborhood for young families because there is 4 different schools in the neighborhood. So we have St. Francis of Assisi, which is right here, and we'll show you some drone footage of it. We have St. Francis. A little bit farther over, we have Maddie McCullough, which is going to be right here. And then in this area, this is a great area. So we have Hunting Hills High School. We have the Notre Dame High School. So 4 schools right in the area. We have both the public and the Catholic school division covered when it comes to high schools. You know, if you don't want to have to drive your kids, you want your kids to be able to walk home, that's awesome. And then right in the middle, between those two, we have the Collicutt Center. So this is an absolutely fantastic rec center. It really does have everything. That indoor running track in the wintertime is nice. Even in the summertime, it's nice. I remember doing our fitness test for the fire department. That's where we had to run our 3 kilometers or 1.5 kilometers, 1.5 miles, whatever. That was a long time ago. It's got a fitness gym. It's got field houses in here. So lots of pickleball. Pickleball is a very popular thing here in the city of Red Deer. So the Collicutt Center is absolutely fantastic. Now let's keep going. Now in this other section here, and again, I warned you guys this is going to be a long video. I want it to be super in-depth. I want to break down just about every single neighborhood. So we have another newer section. So this is called Laredo. You can see right there. It's called Laredo. This is a newer neighborhood. There is new construction taking place here right now. Again, this is fantastic. This is a beautiful neighborhood. Lots of young families in this area. I swear half of the fire department lives in Laredo and Vanier East, which we're also going to talk about. So let's just zoom out a little bit here. You can see right in between Laredo. I mean, there's some walking paths in here, but in between Laredo and Vanier East, which is this section right here, there is a nice big park, beautiful park here, a big green space. It's got tennis courts, basketball nets, 2 playgrounds. So this is a really popular area. And you can see that even though we're in a newer area, there's still walking trails. These will take you all the way down, and you can get into the Waskesiu Trail system, but we'll touch on that in a sec. But just south of Laredo, which is this neighborhood right here, we have Vanier East. Now this is where I own my second home. So this is a newer neighborhood as well. It's just a little bit older than Laredo. There's not really any new construction going on here right now anymore, but this neighborhood is fantastic. So right in the middle of the neighborhood, we have a big park. It's got 2 playgrounds here. It's a very safe neighborhood. You're right in the very southeast corner. The southeast corner of Red Deer is one of the most popular areas of the city to live in. Now there is lots of walking trails over here, kind of around this man-made lake. I shouldn't say lots, but I mean, it's nice for a newer neighborhood. These are all paved. And what it doesn't show on Google Maps is that these trails, they walk all the way around here and they go down this way, but they also run all the way up the east side of the city, I believe all the way up to 39th Street. So there's tons of activity here. There's lots of people riding their bikes, lots of families. This southeast corner is great for young families. And just to the west of Vanier East, we have Vanier Woods, which is just a slightly older version of the neighborhood. This is also a really great area. Now, something to note for this area is that we have Highway 595 here. So people are coming in. It's not a super busy highway. This goes out to Dillman, and nobody goes to Dillman, so not super busy. But just remember, if some of these homes, you could have a little bit of highway noise and stuff. So something to pay attention to if that's important to you. All right, let's move a little bit farther to the west. Let's talk about the neighborhood of Inglewood. I keep wanting to go grab my markup tool and draw it out for you guys, but I think it's easier if I just trace it out for you. So this is Inglewood. So this is a popular neighborhood. You can see we still have some of these walking trails that run all along here that are right in the neighborhood. Now, one thing to note about this area is there is a huge set of power lines that just go just like this all the way across the city. Now, some people care about that kind of stuff. Some people don't. I don't know if there's actually been any tests or anything done. Like, do you actually get any type of radiation from this kind of stuff? I have no idea, but some people, like for example, in this neighborhood here, which we'll talk about in a bit, that there's some some duplexes where those power lines are almost feel like they're right overhead of your backyard. They're not, but it feels like it. But Inglewood is a great neighborhood, kind of built in the early 2000s. You got a wide variety of, you got some apartment and condo style stuff over here, some really nice single family homes in the middle. Great for first time home buyers as well. There is a school in the area called Don Campbell. This is a popular middle school, public middle school. And then kitty corner to Inglewood, you have the Oxbow's Off-Leash Dog Park, which is great. When I used to live in the southeast corner in Lancaster and Vanier, I used this dog park all the time if I couldn't get to 3 Mile Bend. Now, something to consider here is that we do have the dump, the waste management facility. I don't know why people just don't call it the dump. Some people report that on certain days you get whiffs of it. I think they're kind of being Karens, honestly. It may happen once in a while. I don't think it's any reason not to buy a home here. Again, even though I lived over here, I'd always use this route to go jogging, and I never once smelled it. Now let's touch on Southbrook. They call it Sunnybrook South on the map. This is not called Sunnybrook South. It is called Southbrook. This is a beautiful neighborhood again. This is a little bit more, there's some really expensive homes here, $1 to $2 million backing onto the Waskesiu Trail System and Piper Creek. This is all, not single family detached homes. There are some duplexes up in this area, but this is a great area for young families. It's super close to everything. Right in this area here, they've just put up some new shopping and retail stuff. So you have Starbucks, there's insurance places. This is a really good area. So you want to walk over, grab your Starbucks, go walk your dog. Southbrook, not Sunnybrook South, is a fantastic area as well. All right, let's move up to Anders. So if we zoom out a little bit, this is Anders here. So big neighborhood, again, super popular. So this northwestern corner called Anders Park, this is the older version. So you get a lot of variety in this home. You get homes built in the 60s and 70s in this area. There is a school in the area as well, so great for young families. And then just south here, we get into Anders on the Lake. This is where things definitely get a little bit more expensive. There are some beautiful homes around this lake, multi-million-dollar homes, definitely out of my price range. And then once we get over into this side, we get a nice mix. There's some really nice homes, and then there's some more affordable stuff all along Addington Drive. You're going to find different duplexes. And over in this area as well, you'll find some row townhouses. Anders is actually, according to area vibes anyways, it has the lowest crime rate in the city. So fun fact about Anders, now in the southeast corner, this is where we get into the East Hill Shopping Center. So this whole southeast corner, this is kind of going to be kind of where everybody goes for their immediate shopping. You have Save On Foods in the area. You have orthodontists. You got Tim's and McDonald's. So, I mean, never go wrong with Tim's and McDonald's. And then we got some restaurants and other stores over here. So this is the immediate shopping in the area. All right, let's keep going. Again, Anders is a great neighborhood. Now we get into the neighborhood of Sunnybrook. So this section right here, this is called Sunnybrook. This is one of the most popular neighborhoods in the city. Right in between here, we have, I think it's bigger than a quarter section. It was a quarter section or more of farmland owned by the Bauer family. This has been purchased by Melcor Developments, and there's a new development taking place here called Bauer Woods. So I think this is going to be an exciting development. I would definitely keep my eye out for this one. It is in a great location, and they are maintaining the Waskesiu Trail system here. So that is awesome. But getting back to Sunnybrook, this is one of the most popular neighborhoods in the city. Homes were built in the 60s and 70s mainly. This is one of those neighborhoods where you drive down the streets and it's just like, wow, check out all these big mature trees, these tree-lined streets. You get lots of big lots in this area, and it just tons and tons of character in this neighborhood. Now you do have the G.W. Smith Elementary School in the neighborhood right here. So this is great for obviously young families, but this is a super popular neighborhood for those looking to retire. I think one of the biggest reasons why it is so popular is people want to stay active as they get older. Now we'll just touch on the Waskesiu Trail system. So we have Sunnybrook right here. This whole green thing right here that runs all the way down to the river, this is called the Waskesiu Trail system. This is a phenomenal area of the city. These are beautiful walking trails, and literally you just walk down out the Sunnybrook neighborhood down to the trails and you are off. Now it's also really close to Bower Mall. So again, you just walk through the trees and you're getting into Bower Mall, which is right here. Now, if we just look at the location of Sunnybrook, it's right in the central portion of the south end. So a lot of the best shopping in Red Deer is right in this area over here. Sorry, this is Bower, but we have South Point Common. Zoom in a little bit. We get Walmart, Home Depot, Canadian Tire, Winners, HomeSense, all in this area. And then of course we have Bower Mall, which is the most popular mall in the city. All right, now let's kind of move a little bit north and let's get into this area right here. So all of this area is an older section of Red Deer. So these are all popular older neighborhoods for sure. Morris Row, which is this neighborhood right here, is a very popular area. Lots of people ask me about this one. It's got some really cool streets. You're going to find lots of character in your homes. Again, this is that time frame of the 1970s and 1980s. So expect some poly B if you're looking in the area. Now, a little bit farther to the west of Morris Row, we have Mount View, which is this neighborhood right here. And then we have Grandview. So I kind of combine these two neighborhoods together, even though they are separate neighborhoods. But they're all kind of they're both very similar neighborhoods. So they're built around that 50s time frame. They're in a really cool, unique location. Again, you can have access to these walking trails that head down to the river, the Waskesiu Trail system. And these are super close to being downtown without actually being downtown. So lots of people don't want to live downtown for whatever reasons, and everyone has their reasons, but you can easily access these trails. And then if you work downtown, it's a super quick bike ride or a walk. So both of these neighborhoods are really good. This is a big ridge right here. So this is kind of where they get their names from, Mount View and then Grand View. So you have a grand view looking over downtown. There's some beautiful homes that line this area. Lots of people have not bought the lots and knocked down the older homes and built the homes of their dreams in this area. So really, really popular. And then we get into Eastview. Now, Eastview is an interesting neighborhood. So this side over here is called Eastview Estates. I really like this area. There's some beautiful homes in this area. Again, nice big green space. There's a really nice outdoor rink here with a little heated chalet. So if you're out there, it's minus 30 or whatever, and you're still playing hockey as you should be, you can warm up. Now, some people, I'm just gonna grab my markup tool for you. This side of Eastview, some people love it. Some people don't like it as much, just for a number of reasons. So again, we have 50th Street, which is right here, which is super, super busy. And then we have 40th Ave, which is right here, which is also super, super busy. Now, right within the neighborhood, we have the Eastview Middle School. This is a big school. So between all of the traffic on 40th Ave, all of the traffic on 50th Street, and then school getting out, this area here can definitely, more so this area right here, can definitely have a busy feel to it. So some to consider. It's a good area, but if you don't want to be in a really kind of like that busy feel, you might not like this area. Now, for some reason, working on the fire department, I don't know why, but right in this area here, there's always people, I don't know why, overdosing behind one of the stores here. So I don't know if there's something in the area as to why that would be happening, or if someone just, were making their way up from downtown and just overdosing in random spots. I don't know, but I'm just letting you guys know. Now, moving a little farther north, we have two neighborhoods left kind of in this older area of the central portion of the south end. We have Michener. So This area right here is called Michener Hill. This is kind of an interesting area. Again, we have 50th Street, so just be wary of lots of traffic on this area. And then we have 55th Street. So this comes from downtown, and this can be a busy artery as well. Now, there's some really cool condos and homes over here that kind of outlook over the ridge. This is an interesting neighborhood in that it has a lot of people don't know, but we have the Michener Aquatic Center in this area. So they call it the Michener Center, but this is a popular spot for people to go do their lane swimming. And then over in this area here, we have Michener Hill Extended Care. So really great institution here in the city of Red Deer. If you're looking for a job in the healthcare industry, this might be a place that you want to apply. And then we have lots of 55 plus living for seniors over in this area as well. Now let's talk about the neighborhood, the last one on the list here for this section anyways. Let's talk about Clearview Meadows. This is a popular neighborhood. Again, you're kind of sandwiched between 30th Ave and 50th Street or Ross Street. So again, this is busy. Just be aware of that. This green space in the middle of the neighborhood is beautiful. I love this area. And then we have lots of different walking trails and things along here. And you can easily access the Gates Lakes Bird Sanctuary, which is just down here again. So the far northern side of both of these neighborhoods are very beautiful. There is a big cemetery right in this area. So if you're a little bit superstitious and you're worried about ghosts and shit, maybe you don't want to live in this area. Okay, we've pretty much covered the whole southeast and east side. Let's move down to the very south end here. We've talked about Bauer a lot on this channel. Let me grab my markup tool. So Bauer is this neighborhood right here. Now, if you're looking for walkability, this may be arguably the most walkable neighborhood in the city. In my opinion, it kind of goes between Clearview Ridge and the neighborhood of Bauer. So older neighborhood, again, built in the 70s and 80s. Now, what makes this so walkable? There's a number of reasons why this neighborhood is so walkable. So you have the Bauer Mall right in the northern end of the neighborhood. Again, this is where some of the best shopping in the city is. Lots of people like to retire in Bauer, and when it's wintertime, they use Bauer Mall to get their steps in when it's cold out. Bauer also borders Gates Avenue. So let's just zoom out a little bit here. This whole Gates Avenue is the largest avenue, the busiest avenue that runs north to south in Red Deer. And this is all shopping and businesses and, just commercial stuff. So there is no residential stuff right along Gates Avenue. So on the south end here, bordering Bauer, you got lots of good restaurants in here. We got Earl's right across the street. There's Moxie's. The Rusty Pelican closed down now, so that kind of sucks. That was a popular restaurant. And then right across Gates Avenue from the neighborhood of Bauer, this whole section here is shopping. So Home Depot, Walmart, there's so many stores down in here. Winners, HomeSense, Best Buy. So this, I think they call it, or it's called South Point Common. You got some restaurants like Montana's and Eastside Mario's. And then another reason why Bauer is walkable is if we just zoom out a little bit, is it's not a far walk to Red Deer College or Red Deer Polytechnique. I hate the name Red Deer Polytechnique, so I still call it Red Deer College. But this is absolutely walkable. So, on a cold winter day, you're definitely going to want to dress warm. It's not, I'd say you could probably walk there, depending on where you live in the neighborhood, and anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. But very walkable. So a lot of times too, people who are looking to, potentially cash in on the investor crowd and have a rental property, Bauer is also a good option just because we have that high potential of the renter population maybe looking to live there from Red Deer College. Now again, Bauer Mall borders the Waskesiu Trail System. So we have the neighborhood of Bauer. Again, we talked about this runs all the way down to the river. This is the same walking trails that border Sunnybrook. And a nice thing about this, these walking trails, they come all the way south. This is right here. This is the Centrum and the Westerner grounds. So this is where lots of events happen. Agri-Trade, Westerner Days. This is where the Rebels play, the WHL hockey team within the city. So this is a super easy walk. So this is probably the most walkable neighborhood in the city of Red Deer, and you're just super, super close to everything. All right, let's head to the southwest corner. Let's zoom out a little bit here. So we have the southwest corner here. This is a very popular area of the city to live in. So within this area, we have a few things. We got West Park. So West Park is this section here. This is an older neighborhood again. And then we have West Lake. It's called West Park Extension on Google Maps. It's not, it's actually called West Lake. This is a newer section. So homes were built in the early 2000s. So whether you want to have an older home and live in the southwest corner, you can live in West Park. Especially, I'm a big fan of this area over here. There's some really nice, quiet streets, lots of, beautiful trees and big lots. This side is nice too. It is going to be a little bit busier here in this section. So this is a busy artery. This is a busy artery. And then we have the West Park Middle School, which is a huge middle school in this neighborhood. So when that's getting out, that can make it feel super busy. And when the college is getting out, the college is right here. So these two neighborhoods, if you're looking to live as close to the college as possible, West Park and West Lake are hands down the only options or the best options. So when college gets out, this can be busy. You have people coming in off the highway. And then Taylor Drive is also probably is the second busiest north-south avenue compared to Gates Avenue. So it can be a little bit of a busy feel on this side as well. Now, some things to note about West Lake. So this area here, it's all single family detached homes. So not only do you have, easy access to Red Deer College. So if you're either going to college yourself or your kids are going to college, it's a super short walk, but you have access to the G.W. Smith Canada Game Centre, which is right here. So again, this was built in preparation for the 2019 Canada Winter Games. This is a beautiful rec center. It's state of the art. The indoor running track is phenomenal. The gym is absolutely fantastic here. And one of the best parts about living in this section of the city is you can see that you have Heritage Ranch right here. So arguably one of the best parks in the city. Heritage Ranch, it's literally just steps away from the West Lake neighborhood. And then you can get into all of the trails that run through Heritage Ranch. There's a ton of trails back here. You can literally spend the day here and not touch all of them. You have Mitchell Pond down there where you can go fishing. There's the West Lake Grill. And what a lot of people don't realize is that we have the Alberta Sports Hall of Fame right here too. So super easy access. This is very walkable from the West Lake neighborhood and Heritage Ranch. Now, all of these trails, so you can see we have Heritage Ranch, like all of these trails all around in here, like they're just endless. And you can cross the pedestrian bridge here, and we'll throw up some drone footage for you for this bridge. It's pretty cool. And these plug in to all of the trails along the river valley, and you can take those down to all the different parks, which we'll touch on in a bit here. Now, another thing to note about living in this section of the city is that we do have, it is very walkable to the Cronquist Business Park. So lots of stuff going on here right now. This is a very popular area. There's tons of businesses in here. So we have the old theater or the cheap theater, Carnival Cinemas. So a little nostalgia for you. There's cool coffee shops, markets. This is where they have lots of food truck Fridays. I think they attract about 20,000 people throughout their summertime in this area. This is where the Capstone development is taking place too. So this area is going to get even busier and busier. So it is walkable though from both of these neighborhoods, more so from the West Park neighborhood. You can see you can take these trails and it just comes right down into the West Park neighborhood. So if you're at the Troubled Monk and you have too many wobbly pops, it's not too far to get home. Hopefully make it out of the trees. Now let's touch on South Hill. This neighborhood isn't asked about a lot when I get people reaching out to me. So we have this area right here. This is all called South Hill. And this side of it over here has a very different feel compared to this side over here. So in this area, we have the Red Deer Regional Hospital, which is right here. So you can imagine how busy this section of this neighborhood must be. And on this end over here, we have the Red Deer Resort and Casino here. So this is also very busy. In this area, this is primarily all going to be apartment complexes and condo buildings. There's a handful of detached homes here, but this is where you're going to find a lot of condo living in the city of Red Deer. There are some nice condos that kind of overlook Taylor Drive here. And then on this side, again, mainly apartment complexes and condo buildings. So a couple single family detached homes. There's some senior living over here, but it does border Kin Canyon and the Waskasiu Trail System. All right, let's head downtown Red Deer. Let's go downtown and see what's going on. So downtown is going to be this area here. Okay, now there isn't a lot. So this is mainly all businesses in here. You're going to find some condo buildings and some single family detached homes kind of scattered throughout here. Most people aren't looking to live in this area. I'm not going to lie. It's just the way it is. Just to be fully transparent here, we do have the homeless shelters and safe injection sites downtown. So the safe injection site will be right in here, and then you have a couple homeless shelters right here. Now, when we're looking at neighborhoods to live downtown, there's kind of three primary neighborhoods that most people will look to. So we have Waskesiu. So this is a great neighborhood. I just put that out in one of my last videos as one of the most popular neighborhoods in the city. So this area right here, older neighborhood, lots of character homes and historic homes. So if you are looking to live on the river without having to pay a leg and an arm, you can see the river is right here. We have Waskesiu, which is bordering the river. This is probably going to be your best option. Now, some things to note about living in this neighborhood is that you do have, again, easy access to all of the trails that go along the river valley. You can see we have the Gates Lakes Bird Sanctuary just over here in the Waskesiu neighborhood here. And then we have the Mackenzie Trail System, or Mackenzie Trail Park, not too far away. In this neighborhood, we also have another high school. So we have the Lindsay Thurber High School. This is great. There's a big running track by this school. So lots of people, I know I used to go run my 400-meter sprints that took me probably 6 minutes to do when I attempt to get in shape. And there's also another school over in this area. So Waskesiu is a great option if you're looking to live downtown. You want to be close to nature. Again, here's that theme again, the Waskesiu Trail System that runs all the way down to the Centrium that we talked about. So close to nature, great neighborhood. Now, if we go right across 52nd Street and we get into this area right here, we have the neighborhood of Woodley. So again, kind of the same time frame as Waskesiu, maybe a little bit older. This area is really beautiful. It's got some of the best tree-lined streets, in my opinion, in the city of Red Deer. Some of these streets you drive down, you're just like, man, there are some beautiful homes here. Some of the biggest lots you're going to find down in this area. And again, we have bordering the Waskesiu Trail System. So kind of a common theme. If you want to live near a place that has easy access to nature and walking trails, you're either going to want to live close to the river or this Waskesiu Trail System that cuts through the south end. Now, one last neighborhood to touch on downtown before we head up to the north end is Parkville. So that is this area right here. It is becoming more and more popular. The green space in behind here is absolutely beautiful. You're really close to everything that comes with living downtown. So we have Parkville right here, and then we have all of downtown right here. So this is a great neighborhood for seniors. This whole southern end of the neighborhood is all 55 plus living. So there's older duplexes down here. There's a senior's home down here. Right in this green space in the middle here, we have the Red Deer Rec Center down here. So a lot of people don't know that. There's a good rec center right down in this area. There's horseshoe pits. There's the seniors golden circle. There's a big splash park for the kids or the grandkids. So this is a really fun area, and it's becoming more and more popular. Now, let's just kind of zoom out a little bit. Now, we touched on all the parks and everything that Red Deer has to offer, kind of. Red Deer is really well known for its river valley, and hopefully my editor is showing you a ton of footage right now of this river valley. So it cuts through the middle of the city, and again, all along here, we have, Mascapatoon Park. This is up in behind Oriole Park West. This is actually a bee pollinator park, or something like that, if I'm remembering correctly. And then, of course, we have Heritage Ranch. And then we move down into Bower Ponds. Bower Ponds is a super popular park within the city. You're going to find lots of events taking place down here, live music. This is where they have fireworks. You can rent pedal boats and paddle around in this pond here. Lots of people take their kayaks out and their stand-up paddle boards. And in the wintertime, they clear it all off and everyone is skating down here. And there is a concession down here that serves food. You can rent skates. You can get warm if it's a wintertime. So these are some parks that you definitely want to check out if you are visiting the city of Red Deer and you're trying to form your opinion of what the city is like. So Heritage Ranch, Bower Ponds, we've already touched on the Gates Lakes Bird Sanctuary when we talked about Clearview Ridge. We've talked about Mackenzie Trails. And then 3 Mile Bend Dog Park. We are super spoiled in Red Deer. Red Deer is a very dog-friendly city. 3 Mile Bend is one of the nicest dog parks in the country. And that's not just me making that up. That was actually on a list. But when you get here, you know what I'm talking about. So it's tucked right in along the river. So on a hot day, it's not a problem for your dog to hop in the river and cool off. And you can see there's tons of bodies of water running through here. But it's an off-leash dog park. Obviously, it's off-leash because it'd be too big to fence. That would cost a small fortune. But you have all of these trails that run all around in here. And this is just an amazing dog park. So even if you don't have a dog, make sure you come down and check out 3 Mile Bend. All right, let's finish off this tour of Red Deer. Let's head up to the north end and talk about what it's like living on the north end of the city. So we have the north end. Basically everything on the north side of the river is considered North Red Deer. And there's some great neighborhoods to live up on the north end as well. Now let's start off over here. Let's talk about the Pines. In my opinion, the Pines is kind of the mirror image of Bauer, which is on the south end. So just like Bauer, so this is the neighborhood of Pines here. So I should have pointed that out. Just like Bauer, it borders Gates Avenue. So you have access to all of the shopping and everything that comes along Gates Avenue here. And then right in this section down here, we have Parkland Mall. This is not as good a mall as Bauer Mall. Bauer Mall is definitely more of a popular mall. However, there's still some really good things in here. You have Walmart, which is right there. There's still some good stores in there. And in Parkland Mall, you have one of the best gyms in the city called Good Life Fitness. This is a super popular gym and it's right within the Parkland Mall. Now, most of the homes in the Pines were built in the 70s, 80s, and this is kind of a mishmash of stuff. So you do have a trailer or a mobile home park in the area. And then along Piper Creek, which is this area here, you have some beautiful homes. And then right in this area, you have a big kind of wooded area with a bunch of really big closes. They're called closes here in Alberta. And you find multi-million-dollar homes here. So you get a lot of diversity in this neighborhood. Pines is definitely a popular older neighborhood to live on the north end. And you can see we do have pretty easy access to the river if we want to get down there, and really easy access to 3 Mile Bend. All right, let's head up to the very northern border of the north end and talk about Kentwood and Johnstone. Now, Kentwood, fun fact about the neighborhood of Kentwood is that in 2024, it was the fastest appreciating neighborhood in the city. Talk about craziness. Detached homes in this area appreciated over 20% in 1 year. So this is as far as you can get. If we zoom out a little bit, you can see there's nothing farther north here. However, this land has been annexed by the city and there will be development starting to take place here this year in 2025. Actually, they'll be starting with the Haslett Lake development. Because it's so far north, it's got a very quiet feel to it. They did get a brand new school here, the St. Lorenzo Ruiz School. So awesome for young families. Kentwood is a great neighborhood, and Johnstone is also a great neighborhood. It's going to be, so Kentwood is kind of built 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Johnstone is going to be a little bit newer in the early 2000s. So this is a great family-friendly neighborhood. Really, again, really quiet up here. That's a common theme on this north end. Lots of parks, and you just have, when you're there, you'll feel it. You have lots of young families in the area. I've had a couple clients move to Johnstone, actually a handful of clients moved to Johnstone over the last year, and they absolutely love it. Now, some things to note about this area. So Edgar Industrial is a big industrial park that is right along here. So, you know, there's a lot of businesses in there. So after work and before work, that might get a little bit busier. It's not really going to affect the neighborhoods too much though. And there is a train that runs along here. So something to keep a note. If you don't want to live by a train or you don't want to live too close to an industrial area, you might not want to live in these areas, but they are absolutely fantastic areas to live in on the north end. Now, a lot of the shopping, some of the really good shopping is right here in this section, just south of Johnstone. I can't remember, it's like 67th Street shopping or something, but there's lots of restaurants, hotels, Fat Burger, just lots of good stuff, lots of great shopping in here. Now, on the north end, the main rec center is going to be the Daw Center, which is right here. They have recently put $40 million into upgrading the Daw Center. So it is pretty friggin' awesome. You have swimming pools, gyms, gymnasiums. There's the public library there, as well as a school. So if you're looking for the main rec center in the north end, this is probably your best bet. Now let's get into the central core of the north end of the city. So we have two neighborhoods here. We have Normando, and then on this side, this long rectangle, we have Glendale. This side is called Normando. Now, again, we do border Gates Avenue, so just be wary of that if you don't want to be backing onto any stores or anything. Both of these are older neighborhoods built in the 80s and 90s, and both of them have some really, really nice pockets to live in. One of my old fire captains, he used to do my taxes for me. He lives in this area here, and it's a beautiful area. Same with Glendale Park Estates. You drive through here and there's absolutely some really stunning streets and beautiful homes in this area. Now in Glendale, you are going to get a little bit more of a mix, especially on the south end. Well, there's going to be some up here too. There's going to be a lot more apartment complexes and duplexes. Now in both of the neighborhoods, we have 2 mobile home parks. I remember working on the fire department and working in the ambulance too. There was lots of shenanigans going on sometimes in those trailer parks. It could have changed by now. But we have Mustang Acres, which was down in this area, and then we had Northwood Estates. So some things to think about when you're living in these areas, lots of really great pockets, and you're also in a great central location. Now, if we move a little bit farther over, zoom out a little bit here, we're gonna head down into this area. Now, this kind of reminds me of West Park and West Lake on the south end. So we have Oriole Park and Oriole Park West. So Oriole Park is going to be the older version. Now, I really, really like this southern end of Oriole Park. Lots of big trees with tree-lined streets. There is like a really fun tobogganing hill. In the wintertime, you'll see tons of kids tobogganing on it. Now, I do find this northern part of Oriole Park to be a little bit busier. So it's going to be you're going to have a lot more duplexes and a higher rental population in this area. And for some reason on the fire department, this is where most of the fires that I attended were in this area. And you do have Taylor Drive kind of running along here. So just be wary of that as well. This is going to have a little bit of a busier feel. Now we move over into Oriole Park West. So this is an interesting neighborhood. There's some beautiful multi-million-dollar neighborhoods backing onto Mascapitoon Park and the Red Deer River. And then we have some first-time home buyer stuff, and as well as some mid-level ranges. So a little bit of everything in this neighborhood, built in the early 2000s. Some things to think about here, right in this northern portion of the neighborhood, we do have hotels and different things like that. So just if you don't want to have, if you don't want to be sitting on your back deck and be staring at a hotel, something to think about. And another thing to consider when living in this area is you are kind of like the neighborhood of Westlake, which I didn't touch on Westlake. A big thing about living in Westlake is being wary of the highway. So some of these streets, they actually are getting really close to the highway, and you're just going to have that slight hum of traffic noise coming from Highway 2, no matter where you live in the neighborhood. Same thing goes with Oriole Park West. So you are getting pretty close to the highway as well. And there is that train that runs down along here. And I had a client actually buy a house right in this area. And when that train comes by, he says it does shake his house a little bit. So something to consider. Now, if we move a little bit farther down, Fairview, we have a small neighborhood here. It's in a great location, as you can see, just like the rest of these. You have easy access to Bower Ponds, Great Chief Park. This is where a lot of baseball and different sporting events are. If we zoom in, we have the oval speed skating rink, or the oval speed skating track at Setter's Place. And then we have the Red Deer Golf and Country Club here. Fairview is an older neighborhood. Again, super easy access and very close to some of the best parks in the city. Now we get into the central portion of the north end of Red Deer. Oh man, the other day I had a fellow call me. He lived in Riverside Meadows and he chewed me out. He says, I never talk about Riverside Meadows on my channel. And he called me a bonehead and he hung up the phone. So I had a good chuckle at that. Now Riverside Meadows is in a good location. Now it's right up on the river. So if you want to live right on the river, this is a good option. However, in full transparency, even though I think there's some good pockets in Riverside Meadows and there's been a lot of sales happening here, lots of homes have been getting sold in this area. I think this area of the neighborhood has some nice pockets to it. There is a homeless shelter right here. So we already talked about there being homeless shelters right here. Well, there's a walking bridge that goes right here across the river, which they're actually upgrading. It's an old train bridge. And so there's a lot of foot traffic going back and forth here. So you get a lot of that spillover into the Riverside Meadows neighborhood. Now it is an older neighborhood and I do think that it is a beautiful neighborhood. It's really pretty to drive through. You're right on the river. Unfortunately, it does have that potential con, and I'll leave it up to you to decide whether or not that is a con or a pro of living there. Now, right north of Riverside Meadows, we have the neighborhood of Highland Green. Now, over in this area, Highland Green Estates, this really is a beautiful area. Again, you're going to find some really beautiful streets here. This is a big ridge that kind of overlooks downtown. There's a couple of really popular retirement communities here, Montfort Heights as well as St. Joseph's, all 55 plus living. Now, some people do get concerned that we do have the homeless shelter right down here, which is literally just like a few second walk to get up to the seniors living. But none of the people in here seem to be concerned about it. And this is a very beautiful area. So Highland Green, it is a good neighborhood. Again, some beautiful areas on Highland Green Estates. Some people do get a little bit concerned though that it is close to Riverside Meadows, which has the homeless shelter in it. So this entire area, there are some beautiful pockets in there. I'll leave it up to you to decide whether or not that is a pro or con of living here. So that pretty much covers all of the neighborhoods. I hope that helped you guys a little bit. You know, if you are considering moving to Red Deer, you might want to consider moving to one of the towns that surround it. So we have Black Falls. I'm just going to touch on these quickly. I have a whole video on my channel about this, so you guys can watch that video. But Black Falls is only about 13 kilometers from the northern border of Red Deer to the town itself. We have Sylvan Lake, which is about 15 minutes to the west. Lacombe is a good option. This is about a 25-minute drive. And then we have some smaller towns. Penhold, really good option, about 3,500 people. Super quick drive right here. And then we have Springbrook, which is where the Red Deer Airport is. So not a lot going on there, but lots of development taking place. The Red Deer Airport expansion is taking place. So you're going to see this place grow quite a bit. So I hope this video was informative. I know it was a longer video, guys. I really appreciate you guys staying tuned and watching the whole thing. And if you did get any value, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and of course, click that notification bell so you're notified every week when a new video comes out. And if we're liking help with real estate needs, give me a shout, use this info popping up, and have a look at some of these neighborhood videos if you want some more specific stuff on certain neighborhoods. All right, I'll see you guys next week.